Welcome to the Church Tech 101 podcast. This is episode number 14, I think. And this one is different because I am on the road. And you're on the road too with my guest, Ben Everson.
Howdy. Hey, good to see you in person.
Well, we're here at Awake 25 in West Virginia, which is a revival meeting. And
it's been crusade. Yeah,
it's been amazing, and just neat to see what God is doing here. But I thought I'd have you on and chat for a little bit, just about tech in general, and what churches can do. I mean, the podcast is Church Tech 101, but these episodes are kind of free form, so just whatever we want to talk about.
Nice.
Maybe things that you have noticed, or things you think churches are doing well, or things that you think, man, if churches would do this, that would be great, or that could bring their audio or whatever up to another level. So,
oh yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And we've been friends for a while now, and it's kind of neat because some of the times when I'm traveling, I'll go to a church where you were just there, or going to be there, or something like that. And recently we were over in Virginia, and Joe Nareau there in Portsmouth, he was like, "Yeah, Tim Hartman was just here, and he asked if he could play your music to sound check." And so he was like, "Oh no, we don't allow Ben Everson music here." I don't know if you remember him giving you a hard time, but
yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, well, what pops to my head immediately is like a good, bad, and ugly, right? As I travel, right? I don't know if that's a good format or not, but some good things that I'm seeing as I travel are, I would say, is less fear in churches, in your average church, of tech. Because for a long time, at least in some of the places I was going, let's say 15, even 20 years ago, there was kind of a resistance. We would bring in, for people who don't know, and I don't expect that you would know this, but I travel with 2 Bose towers and a wireless handheld mic. My wife likes the corded mic. She does not like wireless. So I acquiesced to her,
It's the reliability that never drops out.
Yes. And, we actually, when all of our kids were traveling, we got to the point where we had 5 wireless mics, and then my wife was still on a wired mic, but they would work in 25% of the time, or 75% of the time they'd work. But then that one critical church where you're rushing in, trying to set up, and then it doesn't work, was so frustrating. So I actually sold my wireless mic at the time. It was a BLX, if I remember right. And so a little bit farther down the quality list, and then we went to all wired, and I just stayed with that. But I was also like Bluetoothing our soundtracks and everything, and I scrapped that. Went all back to wired, and then just this last season, I went myself back to wireless. Shure, what was it? GLXD? Is that what I have?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not even remembering it. But anyway, I say all that to simply say that sometimes when we'd pull up to a church and we'd start setting up, there'd be some nerves like, oh, they got big speakers, or, what are these things, or, what are they going to do? And I think a good thing is that there's not a lot of fear anymore. It's like, no, we want to be able to hear.
Yeah. And I'm finding that, and not to knock the previous generation, but I'm finding that the younger generation is ready to embrace tech. Like, what can we use this for? Because they have, I think, a good idea of how it impacts their own life. And so then they go, well, we could use this. And so it's just, as you get a generation that's more tech savvy coming into ministry, they're more interested in how can we use tech? And then the other thing I'm seeing now that is maybe even more recent is, how can we do that well?
Yeah.
And in the past, there was always, like, budget was the number one concern when I would have a conversation about tech. And now it's not so much. Quality is actually climbing the ladder, I think, which
Not going to argue with that.
I'm happy to see it, because it's such a good tool for ministry. And if it's not done well, it can be a hindrance to preaching. It can be a hindrance to, your service if it's just constantly a headache. So,
well, and that too is when you get somebody trustworthy, like you're going to come in, you're going to say, hey, this is what I'm going to recommend. And you're not trying to sell them a bunch of extra stuff that they don't need. I think that's something that I've had pastors, I won't name them, but I have had pastors ask me in the past, like, they'll ask me to like second guess the quotes that they get from their local store, that's, wants to sell them brand new this, brand new that. And I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely necessary. I can see that. This is necessary. This thing over here, that is just them like padding their wallet because you don't need that. You can go with this and you'll be fine. So I think some of that is finding trustworthy people like you and a small handful of others on the road that, quality, but also not trying to oversell either.
Right. You got to hit that sweet spot between this is a product that you can buy that will have a long service life versus, this is really good, but it's not what you need for like a Sunday morning. Like this is built for like touring. So it's constantly on the road and it needs to take a lot of heavy wear and tear. Well, that's not the average church. But at the same time, I feel like once a month at least I get a text about, hey, I can buy these 4 channels of wireless mic on Amazon for $150. Should I do that? I said, well, you can.
Yeah, you can.
But you'll be buying it again in a year.
Right.
Because as soon as somebody drops it, it's just, the build quality is not there. So I don't know.
We did that twice. Full well knowing for the kids, so for the 4 kids, we got one of those, cheap ones. And I full well knew when I was doing it, we're buying, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm just telling you, we're going to get another one in a year.
Yeah.
It's going to go out or we're going to get it anyway because it will go out after that. And sure enough, it happened. But then a mutual friend of ours, I won't name him, but a good guy actually got me some equipment that came out of Vegas. And they were top of the line. They were well used, but they were still top of the line wireless mics. Yeah. And we were able to tour the rest of the time with our kids with those. And those were the ones that, the microphones never failed, and that was a big, big difference. Now it's mostly on me probably, but, I didn't take the time a lot to search for the bands that were, the band, the frequencies and do all that stuff because you should do that.
Right.
And I wouldn't. And so I'm sure some of my problems came from not doing that.
And it's a tough thing to do. I mean, in a lot of situations, I'll do the onboard mic scan, but I've had churches where there were frequency problems that were intermittent. And so in a situation like that, the quick scan won't find the problem. And I would end up doing like a 1-hour scan to try to figure out, oh, look, something just popped up there and went away. And that's right where the wireless mic was. And so, but for most people, they can, do that and it'll work out pretty good for them. So,
yeah. Well, that's good. So, that's probably the number one thing that I'm seeing good is a lack of fear, or to put it in your positive way, people aren't afraid of spending a little bit if they know they're getting the right quality. Mm-hmm. So, if that's the good, I think the bad is, and this one's tough for me, but the pace at which technology is it takes, let's put it this way. It takes effort to learn tech.
Yes.
And I'm still coming from, we're the same generation, but you have like, let's talk video for a second. Like I used to know a little bit about video. Well, I consider myself knowing nothing about video because everything has moved so quickly and I just haven't put my mind to it to learn that, So your average churches, I think the bad is that some people are not taking the time to learn just a little bit more, so that they can make both informed decisions and run their equipment better. So I don't know if you're seeing the same thing. or if you're seeing a contrast to that.
I see that, and I think the pace. So that even gets to me because I'll have somebody come in and can you do like a deep class on this particular presentation software? Well, I'm one guy. I don't have deep knowledge about all 7, 8, or 9 presentation softwares on the market.
Right,
it's a lot.
Yes,
I'm pretty good with ProPresenter and a couple of others, but because they're kind of the big hitters in the field, but there are just so many options. And the thing that I know is that I'm always learning new things. If I stop learning, if I stop being curious, if I stop digging through the industry magazines and going, oh, look at this new thing. Oh, look at that new thing. I could use it for this, or it could help churches in this way. I'll get stagnant and I'll start overlooking. And honestly, as I travel, I run into, younger guys who are like, hey, check this out. And I'm like, that is cool.
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Yes.
And so I never go into a place with the attitude like I'm the expert and I know everything. But I try to go in with a helpful attitude. And I do know a lot of things, but I think audio is the place where most churches get overwhelmed. I find that they're doing they can do presentation software if they get in and dig in and figure it out. And they can probably put up a pretty good live stream if they get in and dig in and figure it out. But audio is the thing where there are just so many things and you don't know what you don't know.
That's it. Yeah. Right.
And I was at a church and a guy was explaining to me how when he hit the 48V button on his mixer, everything got clearer.
Oh no!
And I said, no, that's not what that does.
All 48 V's of it.
Yeah, all the V's come flying in. But I mean, it's just there's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and I guess I have decided that I'm the kindergarten teacher of tech YouTubers.
I like that.
Because there's a lot of tech YouTubers that are they're oh, look at this new shiny deep, we're reviewing this uber crazy expensive mixer and we're going to do all these things with plugins and whatever. I'm like, you've got this whole group of people that they're looking for the on switch.
Right.
Who's going to help them?
Yeah.
And I don't mind being that guy.
Right.
And it's just, I find it again and again, where it's just sort of like a little knowledge goes a long way. So I love training. I love, honestly, I could take or leave the install side. I kind of do it because it needs doing, but I don't really like crawling through attics or running wires particularly.
Yeah. That's not your bucket list of, enjoyable thing.
No. Another basement.
Well, on the same thing, I feel that way because I'm on the road touring all the time. I feel that way about another gas station. It's like another Saturday spent, just driving, as opposed to that being, just watching football for a day, or something.
Yeah.
But I love what you said about, really that's you have a collaborative spirit. And I think the ugly, if it was good, bad, and ugly, not that we have to stay with that format, it just came to my head. Mm-hmm. The ugly truth is that without making an effort somewhere, then we just won't improve. And
right.
And so I love what you're saying, because I actually, sometimes you send me things. My brother Ken, who's 10 years younger than me, he's always sending me things. You got to check this out, And some of the things I look at and I'm like, okay, I'm never going to use that just because I'm not a church sound man. That's not my thing. But then other things I'm like, oh, I could really use that. I could see how I could put that into practice here, there. Like even the headphones I'm wearing are this is less live sound and more studio. It's a Steven Slate VSX.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and you get basically a virtual mix room. So, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but I use it almost exclusively now. So I can mix on the road and I don't have to have, my studio monitors in an acoustically dead space,
right?
Because it creates it in my head or in my headphones virtually.
Sure.
And I guess that's the opposite of ugly. That's good, the bad, the beautiful. Because if you keep your brain young, like what you were saying, you're learning all the time.
Yeah.
This is new for me, and I'm loving it. I'm about a year and a half into it.
I find that, I don't know, I guess to the ugly, I find that sometimes there's just a good enough attitude about something that's not done well. I'm like, well, it's just a live stream, and I'll listen to a live stream or whatever where the audio is it's in full blown distortion. We're just driving the input into the ground.
Yes.
And the thing I tell pastors, I said, people are going to stalk your live stream,
right,
for maybe a month or so before they ever darken the door of your church today.
Right.
People don't go church shopping now.
No.
They do it online. Right. Everything's online, and church shopping is the same thing. And so if you put out, it doesn't have to be amazing, but if you put out a decent looking and sounding big, clean, and I think sound is more important than your video.
Yeah,
honestly.
People forgive for video before they'll forgive poor audio.
Yeah, you can have a fixed camera, but if people can hear what's being said, and I just did an episode, which I think was, I'm going to misquote my own episode title, was like 6 things you're doing wrong with your live stream audio or something. But they're just like the 6 most common things that I run into. People like, oh, well, and like, this is how you get to the next level. And I get that a lot. And that's encouraging. Churches are like, okay, we know our live stream audio is not great. How do we get to the next level?
Yeah, how do we fix this?
Right. And
stop cramming your line level into your microphone input. That's the first thing.
Imagine that. Let's talk about voltages. No.
Click the 48 Vs.
Yeah, fly the Vs. But that is, it's the reality today. And you can, the bad is you can just sort of stick your head in the sand. There are churches that don't live stream at all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to, but at least have an audio. I think the lowest tier that you should be at is have audio recordings of your sermons on your website.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty low effort.
Right.
But that's going to let churches, people who are looking for a church, that's going to let them know, like, what are you preaching about? Do I like this? Do I like the message? Do I feel like this church is teaching the Bible or whatever if they're hunting for a church? And but there's also a little bit of, I just had a pastor say to me, it's really creepy when somebody's been watching your live stream for a month and they come in and they know everybody's names. And you have no idea who this person is.
Like, wow, Brother Bob, how's he doing? How's his hospital thing? What?
Who are you?
I watched maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. It was in the summer sometime. And I forget even who it was, so this is terrible, but it's just coming to my head right now, where they were saying, they were actually encouraging churches that if you can't do a live stream really well, to not live stream, but record and then edit. Mm-hmm. And then put that out even, on Monday or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like to your point, what you're saying, this should be your minimum so that people can see what you're doing. So, recording the service, but then, editing it up, making sure the audio's good, the video looks good, all that, and then putting that out on Monday or whatever. Even that is better than live streaming something that's just wretched.
Right. And that was, I remember that kind of floating around in the social media universe, and there were different opinions about that. But I think if that's what you can do to make sure it looks nice or whatever, I find too that, and I don't know, I guess I'm kind of concerned about this. And so, but I'm not really sure what the right answer is. And it is this, how much time do you put into programming your service with slides, video, etc. Every week versus how much time do you spend doing other things, like outreach and that sort of thing. And I'm worried that, some pastors, like they're just young guys, they'll get stuck in we got to have the perfect slides and the perfect music service.
Yes.
Every week. And they spend just hours like tweaking little things like, what is the cutoff there? At what point are you neglecting other things you should do, especially like church planters, And then social media can be that too, where it's like we're spending all our time making these clips or doing this when we don't have enough people to do. When you're a big ministry, that's not a problem. You have somebody who does that,
Right.
kind of full time.
Right.
But for small ministries, in my head, like I'm like, where's the line there where we're doing good stuff for social media and for our service, but how much time do we spend on it? And I don't know if that's where AI comes in. I've run into a couple of younger guys recently who have they're using AI for to build I need a slide for the teen rally, and they'll just go to Chat GTP and be like, hey, make me a teen rally slide with that kind of this, and pop, there it is, and they just throw it up. And is that something that can take the load off of pastors and make it? I've been recommending Canva for a long time.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And and a lot of churches are using that as a template because we're not all graphic design. I'm not a graphic designer. I've been a Canva Pro subscriber for a long time. I use it to make my YouTube thumbnails.
Oh yeah.
I love to throw up little quotes on Facebook, things I've read, or and it's just an easy way to make it look nice. And I've recommended that to churches. I'm like, look, if you need to make a slide about baptism or whatever, it's pretty easy, to jump on Canva, find a template, and just type your words into it, and ta-da, you're done. And it looks nice.
I love that, yeah.
But you're not spending a ton of time and effort in it. So,
yeah, I love not only the, using Canva, but I've been able to use AI for some of those image generations as well. I've got a book coming out here soon. I don't know how long before this airs, but in January, my new book will come out, and I used AI to generate the cover. And it took a few iterations, to get it just right. And I wanted a kind of a old school vibe because it's got a cassette on the front.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called Playlist Theology.
Oh, cool.
And so it's gonna be a book on music philosophy and stuff, but I used AI to generate that image as opposed to paying a graphic designer $700, to do it. I was able to get it done, and maybe it's 95% as good as if I would have had a professional designer do it. But I'm satisfied with it. And I think it looks good. So I think that's a great way to save time.
It's just, I guess I feel like there's a lot of pressure to meet a certain level, and so I try to encourage pastors you want it to look good, but at the same time, how much time do you invest in that? And what's the return? I don't think we really know the answer to that right now.
Well, wasn't there something, I don't know if this is necessarily a spiritual thing, but the 80-20 rule? Seems like I came across that. I don't know if it was one of these books, Simon Sinek or some of these guys that would do productivity things. And they were 80% of your results, I'm going to forget the formula, but I know it's 80-20. So if you get to 80%, that's the critical level. So if you're doing, 80% of that quality, and then what you were saying is then you can spend endless time trying to tweak. But the
final 20%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's you're 80% there. If you've got other things that you got to do, you can leave it there.
Right.
And that's not saying that you're not interested in quality or anything, but just the law of diminishing returns.
Sure.
I guess would kind of play in there. And especially if you're doing something new every week. I'm thinking to myself, do I do that with my albums? Well, it depends on what my time limit is.
Well, I find that I used to be like that when I would do YouTube videos, and the video would be 95%, and I would scrap the whole thing and start editing over, or even retape something because I didn't like a little tiny thing. And at some point, I was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna get content out if I can't just." Yes. And so I reset myself to 90%, just so that, because I thought it's more important that I get this content out to people that it can help than that the content be perfect.
Right.
And
do you find that you get better naturally because you're doing, they had this experiment, right? Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
It just popped into my head. They had this experiment where it was 30 days, and they had two groups of people. and they had them do a project. I can't remember if it was a public speaking project or something, but it was some kind of project. And they gave each group 30 days. One group, what they said was, you need to do a new project every day for 30 days. And then to the other group, they said, you are doing one project and you can take all 30 days to do it.
Yes.
Does this ring a bell?
I saw this.
Yes.
Yes. Was it photography?
I don't remember what it
It
was.
was a photography class. And so one of them had to take a new picture every day for 30 days. And then the other people had to take the ultimate picture.
And they had 30 days to do it.
They had 30 days to do it.
And of course, the results were unmistakably that the ones that were doing less than perfect work, but they were way better at the end of 30 days.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that popped into my head.
It does. And one of the things that I have found for me, and maybe this is with you as well for the recording, like I try to create a workflow that is easy for me so I don't dread it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what, like right now we're recording on the Rodecaster Pro 2. Probably I won't do anything to this but heads or tails it and like run it through leveling.
Right.
Because I used to be the guy who would like record the raw audio and then I'd go in and we would edit the podcast. And I'm like, I will never get podcasts out. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I don't even tag. I have the audio for so if I do this right here.
Okay.
I have that on the little pad thing. Like I don't even add that in.
That's cool.
Post-production.
Yeah.
Because I knew like if I'm going to get some podcast episodes out, I'm going to have to make a workflow that is easy to repeat and that I don't dread the post-production aspect of it.
Yes.
It's also why the podcast has no video element.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, oh, I have to do the video part. And I had to set up cameras. I wanted it to be audio only because I thought the doing of the content production is more important. And so I needed to create a path of least resistance.
I love that.
To that end. And that's workflow. I find a lot of churches like their live stream workflow or something is needlessly complex. And
yep.
I really have two words that drive all my system design, and one is reliability. Kind of in the age of Amazon systems where we bought all these parts and kind of slapped it together and everything needs reset every week. Your volunteers, it wears them down.
Yeah.
And so reliability is so important. You boot it up and it just works. Even if that means eliminating computers or software from the equation and putting in something hardware, I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And then two, simplicity, because people dread the complex. And I see a lot of, even small churches, where the live stream workflow is so complicated. It has all these after things you have to do. That's a lot for your volunteers every week.
Oh, yeah, and it wears on them.
And I think simple work, I mean, it's okay to do easy stuff. You're not cheating.
Well, as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, when I do my a cappella music, right? Mm-hmm. Now I have a template, and I pull up that template. And it's already got, a lot of times what I do is 16 tracks because it's four, it'll end up being 17 because the solo will be on top. But four voices, 4 parts, etc. But anyway, it already will have the reverb, the compression, all that stuff. I already know what I'm going to set it.
Right.
So I've got that template up, and I can actually record with those settings built in. And it's so much easier because sometimes I'm like, you know what? I've got an hour. I could lay some tracks right now. Mm-hmm. Well, if it's going to take me 30 minutes to set it up, I'm going to go take a nap.
Right.
But yeah, I echo what you're saying 100%.
Well, I think probably it's complex because that's how they figured out how to do it first. And they just never went beyond to how can I make this a less complicated workflow. And I think that's huge, like volunteer friendly stuff. So I can't remember who did the study. I think it was 2 years ago. I think 65% of churches in America are less than 100 members by size. It's all churches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, everybody runs on volunteers. And most of them are not technical. Once in a while, you'll get an IT guy. Very rarely, you'll get somebody who knows something about audio. Maybe a ham radio guy,
Right.
You'll get somebody. But it's you don't have technical volunteers. So, and I feel like the church tech YouTube culture is driving this thing where we have all this complicated workflow and minutia that we have to do it that way. And so guys are going on to YouTube and be like, okay, how do I do this? And then they find this YouTuber guy who's like, hey, you need to do this and add this, and you have to buy this product.
Yes.
And because they're selling it because they got it free or whatever, so they have to promote it. You need to buy these things. And they're trying that, but it's overwhelming, and they get lost and they get in a pickle. And I can't tell you how many people have like, well, how do I EQ this? And I said, does it sound good? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, then let it be. Why? Right. And okay, I hadn't thought about that. Well, aren't I supposed to do this cut and this cut? I'm like, no. If it sounds okay, let it just flow through the system. Like the less stuff you have to tinker with, the better. If you were a humongous church and you were trying to get that last, like we said, maybe even the last 5%.
Yes.
Then you would be there, but you would have people to do that. You would have experts. You would have staff guys or whatever.
And hopefully the higher end software that would help you make those changes. Yeah.
It's a whole different level. But
I like that. No pun intended.
Yeah.
A whole different level.
It is.
Working on your levels.
Nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like a lot of churches, they're stuck in the minutia because they've watched a video or something. Like, well, this is what we're supposed to do. And so that's why I am the kindergarten tech YouTuber. Let's talk about the basics. Let's figure out what the 48 V's are before we talk about EQ.
I love that. And you know what's funny is that on our mixer board, that's what just went out, was the phantom power.
Yeah.
Because I was texting you at I don't know when it was, Saturday night or something like that. I'm like, hey, I'm having problems, and I'm not too proud to ask for help, from the guys. I reached out to you. I reached out to my brother Ken, and you guys both responded with almost the identical suggestions, about the power conditioner and all that, and that happened to also be, there was two problems. That's why it was confusing.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was one problem. There was actually two, and they would be intermittent. And
boy.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so between the two of those things, we got it solved. But,
well, I mean, you're in the Bose ecosystem.
Right. Yes.
And honestly, that's a great example of an easier workflow that it doesn't take you forever to set up and tweak, because you're in different places. That could be a nightmare.
Right.
But you found that that's worked really well for you in all kinds of different situations, I take it.
Oh yeah. And for me, it felt like, and I know this can split your audience, but this is back in 2015, I switched to the Apple ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And I know different people, like my brother Ken, he's in Apple now, but I mean, he liked the Microsoft because you could customize it more and all that. Mm-hmm. But for me, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I want everything to work together, out of the box. Mm-hmm. And that's what the switch to Bose felt like for me. Mm-hmm. So I know there's some churches, for example, I know one church right now that uses Bose speakers, but not Bose mixer. Mm-hmm. Well, you can do that. That's fine. You can do that. I guess we're kind of doing that at Awake 25. I mean,
oh yeah, yeah. So we're using some Bose speakers, but we're using an Allen Heath mixer, but we're still bringing your mixer through the system.
Right. And you know what you're doing, but I'm saying, there's just this little bit of
and they're in one place all the time. You have to set up, tear down. The fact that you can hook up one cable, from your mixer to your system, and you're in business. I
love it.
It just makes it easier.
I'm sorry, I had a rib out, and so I praise the Lord. In this town, I've been to the chiropractor here before, so I already was in their system. But I had to get up. They didn't have any room for me, so I had to get up at 6:30 a.m.
Oh boy,
to go beat everybody down there and stuff. So I am dead tired. But But this is cool because, I've known about your podcast and stuff, but I have to admit this fall has been so crazy for me. I haven't caught up on your episodes.
Well, it won't be too hard because at 10, it took like an 11-month break. And they say that the 10th episode is where podcasts go to die. So I got an inspiration burst, and so what I did, I just was like, it's season 2, and
That's
I recorded 3 episodes.
That's exactly what happened, because I got a shameless plug here, but it's called Third Quarter Ministry Podcast.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And I did, I think it was 8 episodes,
Yeah.
and I was trying to do video and set up these 3 camera shoots and all that. I'm like, and that was all 2024, and then I haven't done any. Now I've recorded several in 25, but they won't come out till next year. So I'm calling it the exact same thing.
Season 2.
Reboot it. Yeah, like we've been planning this.
Yeah. We're back.
That's right. Have you ever used Riverside?
I have not.
Okay, that's one I recommend. Riverside.fm.
Okay.
It's all in browser, and so people can use like their iPhone, and then it uploads the video afterward.
Oh, okay.
So it's still high quality.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So it doesn't have to be in real time.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you see each other, and you can do it audio too. So, which would be real easy for you to do. Of course, you already have your ways that you do it, but that's been really good. I've really enjoyed that because then you can get full blown 1080p.
Well, and
video.
then you don't have to haul a bunch of gear with you.
Right.
So normally I don't podcast on the road. I just podcast it in my studio. So
Right.
it makes it a little easier. If I have a guest, it's by phone only because I'm an audio only podcast. So
Yes. Well, the other thing is that AI too is starting to do more editing.
oh yeah,
So like with Riverside, it's built in, so I can click AI edit and it will automatically switch and like do a little cut for me and stuff. But I know there are some tools audio wise that can help, noise reduction or different things like that. But of course, if you've got your controlled environment, I mean, we're sitting here in a, what is this, a hotel lobby?
Holiday Inn Express.
Yes, Fairmont, West Virginia.
And
Actually,
it's a little noisy. There's background music and people hollering and all that. So
yes, I really thought, because I'm the one that suggested here. I feel a little bad now because it's been super quiet. Like I've come down here and worked in the
Right.
afternoons. Maybe we're a little later in the day.
it might be.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
But it's been great working with you, though. I mean, at this crusade and seeing people saved, and there's got to be at least 20 churches that are all working together.
It's really neat to see what happens when churches get together.
Yeah.
Churches of like faith and practice, and we're like, hey, this is our area, and we're all going to do something, and find out that together we can do a lot bigger thing than if it was just one of us.
Right.
Which I think is great, but we're still independent.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have to. They're not linking arms in such a way where they have to change anything about their own churches, the way their personalities and such.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the audio for this, I listened to a playback of the live stream, and I mean it sounds great. I mean, and you've got some audience mics set up. Are those yours?
Yeah, I put up a couple of Rode M5s.
Nice.
On a stereo bar that I bought for some project, and it just was floating around in my bin of
I love
stuff.
it. I love it.
Just so we could hear some congregational singing.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping to get them up, but that was on the end of the list because it was a pretty intense not even a 1 day
Yes.
setup.
We're supposed to get the venue on Saturday,
right.
and then we couldn't get it till Monday.
And we Frankensteined everything together with whatever speakers we have of your speakers. We have one of the local church's speakers. We've got a PA monitor from a camp somewhere. But we pulled it all together and pulled it off. It was pretty cool, actually. I was worried about it, but honestly, I prayed about it a lot because I think in tech we get really focused on our own ability and our engineering prowess and our troubleshooting ability, and we forget to bring God into it.
Right.
And ask him, take care of stuff that I couldn't possibly know.
Right.
And
well, didn't you told me about one piece that you...
Yeah, I brought a little it's a stereo unbalanced 1/8 inch hum eliminator, which I normally like stays in one of my other mixer bags, and I'm like, maybe I'll need this, and I threw it in the bin. And of course, everything's plugged into all kinds of different power circuits, and we've got a hum, and I threw it on there, and now the live stream sounds nice and clean. And I just kind of had a moment where I'm like, God, you knew this was going to happen, and I didn't even think I needed this, but I threw it in there anyway, and you knew like that little thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Needed to be in the bin of stuff, and it was.
I love that. And I'm going to use that as a sermon illustration. You know, I've got it because, you know, God knows what we need in the bin.
Right. We're just like, okay, we need this, this, this. I'm like, what about that? Probably not, but whatever. Yeah. And then, like, I don't know. It was just kind of a good moment for me, for God to remind me, you know, this is my crusade.
Yes.
I knew you would be here when they started it, even before you got, like, invited to do anything. Like, yes. I knew you would be here, and I knew what you would need, and it was my plan all along. So I think that's
a faith strengthener.
I think it's important. I mean, I feel like a lot of tech ministries, like, they'll go into like overdrive to fix something, but they didn't take 2 minutes, because my tech team and I pray together before Sunday service. Mm-hmm. They didn't take 2 minutes to say, God, help us to do a good job today and take care of things we can't possibly understand or know.
Right.
Because we're just, everything is in God's control.
Amen.
And I think tech people are less likely to believe that. They're like, we can fix this.
Yeah.
And we just jump on it in our own strength.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of what we're trained to. I don't know if that's the right term, but I mean, that's the way our brains usually work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a half tech guy. That's what I call it. Half of me is the music, like creative, but then the other half, my left brain or whatever it is the tech guy.
Yeah.
You know, so I identify a lot with what you're saying, even though I'm not usually the one behind the board.
Yeah.
You know, well, I guess in a sense I am, because I'm running my own sound, but you know, I guess I should put it that way. But you're pure tech guys like you are, and my brother Ken and others, countless others who are going to listen to this podcast and such. It's tempting for all of us to just rely on our expertise, because I mean, we earned it.
Yeah.
And the Lord wants us to use it. But what a great reminder that God is there in the tech space, you know?
Yeah. He's just as interested in that, you know, even though it's kind of a behind the scenes ministry where you may not get noticed, and you don't want to get noticed, really.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the terror. That's the fear. You don't want to be noticed.
I saw a tech meme, and it was a guy like pushing a fader up with a grin on his face, and he's like, I can make everybody look at me whenever I want to.
Oh my goodness.
Like, it's not good attention.
Like, oh no.
It's a superpower.
Oh man.
Well, hey, thanks for hanging out for a little bit and just sort of rambling. We covered a lot of things, but
yeah, love it.
I think that I really like this kind of open format when I have a guest, because I don't want to like tie it down to a topic, because so many good things happen. We just sit down and have a conversation. So
yeah, it's all. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
All right, well, that's it for this episode, and we will see you next time. And thanks for listening.